What's up, everyone? Thanks for tuning in again. I'm Alfredo, and today I want to talk to you a little bit about BMC. BMCs are baseboard management controllers. BMCs are computers or boards that can work in tandem with a server rack on a data center to do remote management or to do monitoring of your infrastructure. With a BMC, for example, you can access the computer remotely, reboot it, or get readings on the CPU temp. You can get readings on the FRU, or you can get the system event log. The philosophy behind this is that, of course, you always want to avoid single points of failure. Of course, you can monitor a computer using the computer itself. But what if the computer is unresponsive somehow? What if something is going on with the machine and it's stuck on a loop and you cannot log in into it? Well, that's where the BMC comes in. So having a separate computer running alongside what you're trying to monitor is a good idea because you're avoiding a single point of failure. Now, I'm going to access the BMC. I recently got the Turing Pi V2, the second generation of the Turing Pi, because I'm trying to build a network attached storage computer. I'm gonna get really beefy storage on that. I'm gonna run a Plex server so I can keep it running forever on my living room, so I can access my media anywhere I go, possibly even doing a seedbox. But unfortunately, right now, Raspberry Pis are impossible to get. Well, not impossible, but they're in really short supply. And the few out there in the market are incredibly marked up. So I'm not going to pay that kind of markup for Raspberry Pis. So in the meantime, I figure let's have a little bit of fun with our Turing Pi. You can boot the BMC on its own because it is already set up out of the box, and you can log into it, and you can try. Let's try to do interesting things with it. So this is gonna be pretty fun. Let's get started now. To do this, you're gonna need a USB to serial adapter, right? So here it is. This USB to serial adapter has a transmission line, the green one, the reception line, the white one, and ground. And the red wire is voltage, right? And the Turing Pi very clearly has 3 pins for the BMC. There's a transmission pin, there's a reception pin, and there's a ground pin. So we're gonna plug the black one in ground, the reception one in the transmission pin, and the transmission cable in the reception pin, right? So let's do that. All right, there we go. And when you plug in your adapter, you will notice that it will come up on the device manager as a COM connection. So we're gonna use PuTTY now to access whichever COM you get. Some people get COM9, so for some reason it's coming up on my computer as COM5. So you open up PuTTY, change the connection type to serial, COM5, and we're gonna connect at 1150-200 baud, and that's it. Oh, I hate how it looks. I'm gonna change the settings. There we go. So now, okay, so we got this. But you will notice that there's a reset BMC button here. So let's do that. There we go. Beautiful. Beautiful stuff. Okay. Good. So with the once you do this with BMC, you will get several different things. Number one, you get a web server with a web interface. Number two, you get an API that you can use. So apparently it wants me to connect it to the network, but I don't have any computers, right? I could connect this to the network. So anyway, so oh, you can use SSH as well. Experiments lane arc right now. So all right, so remember to plug into the network. I think it should work now. I don't like. So I've had an epiphany. Don't use wireless. Wireless is just stupid, right? Wireless is for phones and shit, and passive shit that's only for consumption. If you want to do the real shit, you want to be productive, you need wired. So apparently this is the IP address, so let's try to just connect to that. Root at that, it's gonna be Turing. So root whose user is root, its password is Turing by default. You probably want to change that, right? Why? All right, for the time being, let's try the web interface. So this is how it looks. So this is the web interface. You access it on port 80 on the IP of the Turing Pi V2 BMC. So you have this mode, host, connect mode. Oh, so apparently, I mean, you can also connect to any particular computer from there, which is pretty cool. You could port forward to this, and you could access it anywhere, right? Which is really really nice. So you can control power supply, node info, right? Network upgrade. Submit. What? That's obviously just a work in progress, but all right. So apparently, so I wanted to open a shell to the BMC. So I may be running an older version of the framework. So let's try updating this, right? So let's go to the GitHub page for Turing Pi. Go to releases, right? Then there's the SW. So let's flash this using the web interface here, right? Create file, sudo, and let's go. I mean, this looks as if, you know. Oh, okay, so it was rebooting. So there we go. Pretty nice. I love this. I love this, by the way. I love being able to look at this. Yeah, so that was why. So I was hoping to number one to get a shell, to get a serial session. Number two, to be able to SSH as root. And apparently I was running an older version of the firmware, so that's why I wasn't able to. Wow, they didn't fucking correct the... Alright. Alright, this is new. And... let's try to do this again. SSH root at 16 RM RM. Alright. Rooting. There we go. We got root. So what can we do? Alright, so wow, so we only got VI. So let's configure etc network interfaces, and let's do auto hello, mainnet loopback, auto ETH0. Let's modify it. This auto ETH0 so we can set oh my goodness. It's so weird. Okay. So I got root, so I don't need to worry about permissions. And so address, yeah, let's set point 100 because I think that's not. Let's use point 100, net mask, gateway, pre-op, run a script, wait delay, hostname. All right. We can also modify BI, etc resolve.conf. Name server. Uh, so that's local DNS. So yeah, why not? Let's use Google, which is 8888. All right. Fix Mac. Hardware address. Let's do DD 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 DD. Okay. So MAC addresses are supposed to be fixed, but they're really easy to spoof. And you shouldn't assume that they're globally unique, right? But ideally, they should remain static, right? Because it's a hardware identifier, and routers use them for things. All right, so we did. Yeah, so we updated the BMC. We logged in, and we got, all of this is looking good, right? So let's reboot it. Yeah, the diet. And that's it. So I hope that you enjoyed this little bit of a primer. More stuff coming down the pipeline, by the way. But happy 4th of July, everyone. Thanks for joining.